They say use like bases to solve the exponential equation. What that means is, like, 4 to the 11th, the base is 4. And if that was equal to 4 to the x power, we're using like bases to say x must equal 11. That's the only way that those two things could equal each other. Okay, so let's start with this stuff on the inside here. 1 over 64, that's 64 to the negative first power. Okay, because if you have a number in the denominator of a fraction, you can 1 over x, that's x to the negative first. So 1 over x squared, that's x to the negative second. So 1 over 64, that's 64 to the negative first. And then we can we're trying to make like bases. So let's see if we can rewrite 64 as some sort of power of 2. Okay, so maybe if we do 2 times, if we do 2 to the 5th power, that makes 32. We're getting close. What if we do 2 to the 6th power? That makes 64. So watch this next step. We still have to deal with that negative exponent. This is 2 to the 6 being raised to the negative first power. So we're getting close. We got some like bases. Now what about 8? Can you rewrite that in terms of a power of 2? If you do 2 squared, that makes 4. So that's not it. If you do 2 to the 3rd, that makes 8. So that's 8 is 2 to the 3rd. Okay, we're getting closer. Everything's now in a power of 2. Now look, you got it. 2 to the 6 to the power of negative 1 to the power of 3n. When you have powers on top of powers, they multiply. So all we have to do to simplify this big crazy parentheses is do 6 times negative 1 makes negative 6. Negative 6 times 3n makes negative 18n. We still have that times 2 to the 3rd on the outside equals 2 to the 11th. And now when you're trying to evaluate here, if you have x to the 3rd times x to the 2nd, your answer is x to the 5th, because when you multiply things with similar bases, the powers add up. So here, the powers are going to add up. This is going to be 2 to the negative 18n plus 3. Okay, and now we have the left side is all in terms of 2 to some power. The right side is all in terms. The only way these two sides are going to equal each other is if the powers are equal to each other. So we can make a smaller equation. Okay, so to solve that equation, that one's pretty straightforward. Just subtract 3 from both sides. That makes 8. You get negative 18n equals 8. Divide negative 18 from both sides, so you get negative 8 over 18. Or when simplified, it's negative 4 over 9.